Hey guys, Bird Yugioh here, coming at you with another deck profile. This time it's Metalfoes, Qliphort, Draco deck. It's a really fun pendulum deck, a lot of destruction going on, and it all just kind of works very well together. So I'll show you the deck. It's actually a 60 card pendulum deck. There's just so many engines and so much you can do with this deck that 60 is perfect actually. So to start off with, I'll show you the Metalfoes. We got 3 gold driver. So all of the Metalfoes have this. They don't have a monster effect. They just have a pendulum scale effect, which is once per turn you can target one other face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, set one Metalfoes spell or trap directly from your deck. So they all have that same one. So they all just destroy other cards on the field. This one's a level 4. And a pendulum scale 1. Your other scale 1 is silvered. Like I said, same effect, just no monster effect though. This one's a 3. And then our high scales, so the 8s, are Volflame and 3 Stealing. I just played 3 of all of them. You always want to see them, preferably a high and a low scale, but that doesn't really matter too much. And then the last one we play is Rare Metalfoes Bismugear. This one again the same scale effect, but it actually has a monster effect, and it's if this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add one Metalfoes monster from your deck to your hand during the end phase of this turn, and you can only use that once per turn. So it kind of just gets you some advantage during the end phase. It's definitely not a 3 of, but it's another high scale. So it comes up every now and then. So that's it for the Metalfoes monsters. That's all you need to play. Let me just move those up a little bit, and I'll show you the Draco Slayer engine next. 3 luster. He's off the ban list. He's very, very good. His skill effect is once per turn. If you have a card in your other pendulum zone, you can destroy that card, and if you do, add one card from your deck to your hand with the same name. So it's just more destruction, and it's a 4, and it's a tuner as well. We played 2 Master Pendulum. This card, it's a normal monster, level 4. It's a Draco Slayer, and this one, once while this card is in your pendulum zone, you can target one card in the pendulum zone and destroy it. So again, more destruction. And then our Drake Overlord that we play is Vector Pendulum, and his scale he's another normal monster. He negates all card effects in your opponent's pendulum zone. So basically, just if you're playing against another pendulum deck, he'd be very good. But that effect doesn't really come up too much. He's just a Drake Overlord. And now for the Qli engine. Well, here I guess this is. So 3 guiding Ariadne. That's it kind of goes with everything, because you want this card to be destroyed by card effect, so you can then reveal 3 counter traps from your deck, and your opponent adds one to your hand. This card is, I feel, a must-have in this deck, because you can destroy it many, many, many ways, and getting that effect off to just get a pure negate is amazing and too good not to play. So that's kind of our Draco engine. And then now for the Qliphort engine, it's just a small one, just 3 scout. It's your searcher for monolith. Basically, all you're going to be doing with these is putting scout in the scale, adding monolith, destroying scout to get it to your extra deck, and you'll have monolith, and either destroy that somehow, or you'll just be pendulum summoning both of them to then go into Cyber Dragon Nova and then Infinity for just another really, really good negate. So that's it for the engines. The rest of the pendulum cards, or just the rest of the monsters in general, are going to be just like support cards for all these engines, because these all just work flawlessly together. They're very good. So we have Rescue Hamster. Very, very good because we are, we just have a lot of targets for it and a lot of ways of abusing this card and using it to our advantage. So yeah, I feel that's a must-have at 3. 3 Rescue Rabbit, because we play a lot of normal monsters, so it comes up a lot. You can summon some of the Draco monsters, you know, some of the Metalfoes. So very, very good in this deck. And then some of the Pendulum Extenders, 3 Chronograph, 1 Time Gazer. That's going to be just a very good way of getting into Electromite as quickly as you can. And then the same thing with Master Cerberus and Jackal King. It's a way of getting, you know, a negate when you Pendulum Summon, and just another way of getting to Electromite very easily. So that is it for the monsters. The spells, play 3 Summoner's Art. There's so many normal monsters that you can, it's just a searcher for, you add 1 level 5 or higher normal monster from your deck to your hand. So there's so many good targets. Obviously any of the Qliphort monsters, and then the other main one is Volflame. You can add him from your deck to your hand. So it just searches out your combo pieces and just ways of getting to everything. Duelist Alliance, that's here because you can search out any of your Draco cards, because they're all Pendulum. Most of the time it's going to be Luster that you want to search out, but you can search out any of them. So that's very good. Painful Decision, you can use that for Metalfoes monsters, your Draco monsters, to summon them out. Very easy. Draco Face Off, again, just a very good starter card. If you see this in your opening hand, you're going to be sitting pretty good. A little tech, Super Poly. I just kind of made room for 1. You know, if you want to go the route that was more of like a pure Metalfoes kind of thing, I would definitely recommend playing like 3 of these if you got them, 2 or 3, because a lot of the Metalfoes fusion monsters just require a certain attack, and you can use your opponent's monsters, so Super Poly would be very good. And some of the other spells, you got Metalfoes Fusion. It's your way of fusioning and summoning, and also it adds some draw power. And Full Metalfoes, just another way of fusion summoning. Now let's get to the traps. We have basically our guiding Ariadne targets is 3 Solemn Judgment and 1 Strike. That's all I feel you need, because, so I mean, obviously you're going to want to be searching out a Judgment if you can. So say you don't have any of these in your hand, obviously with Ariadne you're just going to reveal these 3 and your opponent's going to have to add a Judgment to your hand. But say you happen to draw a Judgment, which is not terrible, so you have that in hand, you're going to have to reveal these 3, and your opponent's going to obviously give you a Strike. So now you got a Judgment and a Strike, which is also very good. You're not paying as much life points that way as if you had like 2 Judgments, so I feel that 4 is perfect, and 3 Judgment, 1 Strike, awesome ratio for Ariadne. And then for the Metalfoes traps, we just play 1 counter and 1 combination. They're just ways of special summoning, either from your graveyard or from your deck with counter. And then if these are in the graveyard or sent to the graveyard, this one you can add 1 Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand, and this one you can add 1 Metalfoe from your deck to your hand. So they just have a lot going for them, and you can a lot of times just set them with one of the Metalfoes effects, and then pop it with one of their effects to then get off, like add to your hand and stuff. So definitely play those. Now for the extra deck, it's kind of just catered to all these engines that we play, and you'll see what I mean. So we got Electromite. That's the most obvious one in here. I mean, you're going to be going into this one as quickly as you can so that you can then just get more advantage. And a lot of times with his effect, to target one other face-up card and destroy it, you don't always have to destroy a pendulum monster to then get that draw effect. You could, use that effect to pop one of the spells or traps to get him to the grave, to get those effects, and then later on with another monster in your scale, you could pop another scale and then draw one off of him. So you just got too much utility not to play him. Doolittle Chimera, it just requires 2 fire monsters, and it's another way of getting 2 downward pointing arrows. You're basically going into him with your Metalfoe monsters. They're all fire. Zephyr Metaltron, easy to go into, easy 3 arrows. And then Borload, again, another one that's kind of easy to get into and just a good, link 4, solid link 4 to play. So that's it for the links. The fusions, played 2 Mithrilium. He just requires 1 Metalfoes and 1 Pendulum monster. And he's got a pretty good effect. That's why we play 2 of him. You're going to target 2 Metalfoes in your graveyard and 1 card on the field, and you shuffle the target in your graveyard into the deck, and if you do, return the target to the hand. So it's a good kind of removal. And then if this card is sent from the field to the grave, you can special summon 1 Metalfoes Pendulum from your graveyard or face up from your extra deck. So more or less floats, and just a really good card. Then Alcahest, this is normally the one you're going to want to kind of end on, because it's got a good little disruption. Once per turn during your opponent's turn, you can target 1 effect monster on the field and equip that to this card, and he gains defense equal to the combined attack, equal to the monster's attack, basically. So you'll have him in defense position, and he'll get equipped with whatever card your opponent puts on board. 1 Orichalc, he just requires 2 Metalfoes monsters. Pretty easy to go into, and he's a high attack. And then he also, if his effect is if a Metalfoes monster attacks a defense position, you inflict double piercing battle damage. So if your opponent happens to have a defense position, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. And then this is more or less the super poly target, because this requires 1 Metalfoes monster and 1 monster with 2500 or less attack, which is honestly most link monsters. So you could make this with literally just having a super poly and 1 other Metalfoes monster. Just fusion summon into this, and you're just flat up stealing their monster. So that's it for the Metalfoes fusions. And then now for the Draco engine, we got the 1 Ignister. You're usually going to go into him first, with like Luster and another level 4, because then you're going to special summon a Dracoslayer from your deck, and then hopefully you'll have another, level 4. Then you want to go into Magister Paladin, and then he is going to special summon a face-up Dracoslayer from your extra deck, which is going to be one of the ones you fusion summoned. And then you're going to special summon into that. And then you're usually going to be going into the Dinoster Power. You'll be making him. And then you'll overlay these then into Hope Harbinger. So you just get a lot of advantage out of basically just having 2 Draco monsters. So that's the little Draco engine that we play. And then the final cards are Star Dragon Nova and Infinity. That's, like I said, basically the only reason we play the Qliphort engine is to get into Nova, and then you just overlay Nova into Infinity, and you just have a really good just overall negate. But yeah, that's my Metalfoes Qliphort Draco deck, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe. I'm trying to post videos as often as I can. But yeah, comment down below with what decks you want to see next, and we'll catch you on the next one.